My name is Jim Gibbons. I'm a construction supervisor with the Division of the State Architect, and I'm going to be presenting the mechanical portion of the Project Inspector Overview class. This portion of the training is going to be covering the California Code of Regulations, Title 24, Part 4, which is known as the California Mechanical Code, also designated as the CMC, specifically the 2019 edition of the California Mechanical Code. For this project inspector overview of the 2019 edition of the California Mechanical Code, we're going to be covering a variety of topics, and they are as follows: governing standards, references, applicable Form DSA 152 items, Chapter 2, definitions, Chapter 3, general requirements, Chapter 4, ventilation air, Chapter 5, exhaust systems, Chapter 6, duct systems, Chapter 7, combustion air, Chapter 8, chimneys and vents, Chapter 9, installation of specific appliances, Chapter 10, steam and hot water boilers, Chapter 11, refrigeration, Chapter 12, hydronics, and Chapter 13, fuel gas piping. The following several slides will be covering an introduction to the Mechanical Plumbing Code, as well as some general information relating to the CMC. The model code, or the base code, which is used for the basis for the California Mechanical Code, the 2019 version, is the 2018 version of the Uniform Mechanical Code. It's also abbreviated UMC. This particular version of this code is maintained and held by the International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials, and is also identified in the resources section. The 2019 California Mechanical Code, also abbreviated at times CMC, incorporates the model code, which is the UMC, as the base regulatory document, and the CMC includes California and also agency specific such as DSA, OSHPD, State Fire Marshal amendments that are applicable to situations or construction which is conducted in the state of California. As part of the consistent monitoring and documentation or recording processes that project inspectors are required to maintain, one of the key elements is the Form DSA 152, also known as the Project Inspection Card. In this particular document, there are several sections and several blocks associated with each section, where the project inspector is required to initial upon completion of the activities associated with each section or block. Section 1 is titled Initial Site Work and Foundation Prep, and there are a variety of sections and blocks which may or may not be applicable to any number of construction projects that a project inspector would be observing. Also, some of these pieces of information, either sections or blocks or details associated with each of them, are also addressed in DSA's procedure 13-01, which is the construction review process description in the appendix. So for section 1, it's possible that in block 1, which is titled Utilities Rough-In, it's possible that there may be some FLS utilities and systems, mechanical utilities and systems, or mechanical vaults that are applicable to the project. Block 6, which is basically the section that covers concrete forming, may also have Some information that needs to be documented by the project inspector, specifically anything that has to do with mechanical systems, such as equipment pads that may be installed for mechanical equipment to be mounted. As construction on a project continues, it's possible that there may be some items associated with mechanical construction on the inspection card itself in Section 3, titled Appurtenances, that also requires the project inspector to review and sign off on. Block 18 is titled Rated Assemblies, and there's a possibility that there may be some fire resistance rated penetrations that are made. There may also be some dampers, some mechanical dampers in ductwork that are installed, and these two items would certainly require a review and a sign-off by the project inspector upon completion. Block 20 is titled Automatic Fire Sprinkler Systems, and for this particular block it's possible that there may be some kitchen hood fire suppression systems installed, and along with that, the associated extinguishers that are required to be also installed in these areas. These are type K fire extinguishers for any type of fire suppression system which is installed to extinguish grease type fires. Block 21 is titled Mechanical Structural, primarily set aside for support, bracing, and anchorage for a variety of mechanical equipment or HVAC system components, and also ductwork. Continuing with Section 3 of the Project Inspection Card, Appurtenances, Block 22, which is titled Mechanical Fire and Life Safety, there's a possibility that there may be some mechanical fire suppression system components, such as smoke and fire dampers. As we previously discussed, if there's kitchen hoods, laboratory hoods, which are sometimes found in laboratory settings, dust collection systems, which are found generally in, say, trades areas where a carpenter shop may be located, and also smoke control systems, which may be part of the project's construction. A tool or a resource has been created by DSA staff with the intent to attempt to help project inspectors in their review for construction processes that may be related to items located on the project inspection card. And this resource is called the DSA Inspection Card Manual. Some of the sections that may be applicable to mechanical systems installations are Section 5.0, which is titled Other Building Components and Systems, Section 5.1, which is titled Mechanical Systems, and Section 5.3, which addresses gas systems. There are also some additional sections within the DSA 152 manual which may be helpful for a project inspector to review periodically during their inspections of mechanical systems being installed on a project. They are Section 1.2.2, Welder Certification, Section 2.1.1.3, which addresses underground utilities, Section 2.6.1, which identifies mechanical and plumbing equipment, Section 3.3.5.5, which has helpful information relating to assembly penetrations. Now, it's also important to note that the DSA 152 manual is a pretty lengthy document. It's a very valuable resource. However, its value is most utilized if this particular manual is maintained in its electronic format. That is to say, it's not advisable to actually print a copy of this manual because by printing, you're removing the ability to utilize a lot of the very helpful tools that are associated with the manual electronically, such as internal hyperlinks that have been installed, and also having the ability to use the search function by using the keys on your keypad, Control F, to search for keywords, which would assist in quickly accessing applicable sections and chapters within the manual for review. In addition to the DSA manual, the DSA website is packed with additional resources that may be helpful for a project inspector to review periodically, and certainly may be beneficial to maintain awareness of. These particular resources are DSA bulletins, guidelines, procedures, interpretations of regulations, and also DSA forms. When reviewing the installation of mechanical systems, it's important to understand that similar to electrical and plumbing systems, mechanical systems are basically diagrammatic. And what I mean to say is that the plan views, or the plans themselves, including the details, show a diagrammatic or a routing, a generalized routing guideline for ductwork to proceed in basically transmitting air of any number of types, whether it's exhaust air, combustion air, conditioned air, cooling, heating, etc. And much information is provided in the plans. The routing of mechanical related ductwork, including piping and conduit that is actually installed, may differ slightly from the plans itself based on any number of things, conflicts that may occur with other systems, conflicts with things that were not necessarily anticipated or expected to be encountered during the design phase of the project itself. What's important to understand is that number one, mechanical installations cannot compromise the structural safety, fire life safety, or accessibility components of any project. With that being said, it is certainly possible, and it is not uncommon, that some inadvertent conflicts with the structural, fire life safety, or access compliance systems may occur. And the important thing to remember here is that when these conflicts do occur, they must be reviewed and approved by the division of the state architect, specifically the district structural engineer. So it is incumbent upon the project inspector to make sure that any such conflicts which arise and are observed by the project inspector are discussed in detail at the earliest convenience with the district structural engineer from the division of the state architect. Upon discussing these conflicts with the DSE, it certainly may be required that a construction change document is issued by the design team to the division of the state architect for formal review and approval of the conflict or the proposed resolution to the conflict by the design team members. Chapter 2 of the California Mechanical Code is set aside specifically for definitions, and there are a variety of definitions included in Chapter 2. There are a few new definitions, and it is certainly advisable that the project inspector always review the definitions section in any new code cycle just to become aware of any of the changes and to also stay up on the current terminology which is used pertaining to mechanical systems and mechanical construction.